This is the Fortuner 2.4V. At 1.9 million, it is the most expensive 4x2 variant of the Fortuner. How does it compare to the Montero and the rest of the competition? And is it worth the price tag? Let's find out. The Fortuner takes a different design approach compared to other SUVs in the segment. It is more conservative. The sides look pretty smooth. There are no creases, no massive fender bulges. It has long overhangs and the front looks a bit more streamlined. I'd say it looks a bit more feminine compared to the Terra, the Everest, and the MUX, all of which have massive fender bulges and short broad faces. Aesthetics are of course subjective, so it would depend on who's looking, but I do prefer my SUVs to look masculine, so I drag the Everest on top, and then I drag the Montero and the Fortuner about the same. The 2.4V is more expensive than the 2.4G, so as you'd expect, the V looks a bit more special than the G. On the outside, the 2.4V gets LED headlamps with daytime running lights. The V has 18-inch mag wheels, while the G only has 17s. The V has this chrome trim running along the lower portion of the window line. It also has a power tailgate, which is one thing that it has over the Montero. The Montero only has a manual tailgate. The Fortuner's interior looks modern and classy, while the Montero looks a bit more sporty. The Fortuner gets softer lines, it gets wood panels and brown leather, which I think would appeal more to a more mature crowd. The Montero has a black leather interior with plenty of angular shapes and silver accents, which I think would appeal more to a younger crowd. The Everest's interior has a more rugged design, but you also got plenty of leather and high quality materials all over the dashboard. I think the interior of the Everest also feels a bit more premium. Okay, so this is the interior of the Fortuner V. I guess the most notable difference is the seats. The V has leather seats, the G only has fabric seats. You also get cruise control. It is not adaptive though, it is just you set the speed and then the car maintains that speed. Over here you have controls for your audio system, and then you have your buttons for your hands-free operation. The vehicle has paddle shifters. They seem to be made of plastic. You have leather over here. It is padded. You have plenty of wood. I don't think it's real, but it looks good. Over here you have two cup holders. Storage for your phone. You have a USB port, an aux connector, and a 12-volt outlet. You have single zone climate control. Then you have this aftermarket infotainment screen. Okay, one unique feature of the Fortuner and the Hilux is this storage over here. You can put your drinks inside, and then you have an air vent over there to keep your drinks cool. It is not very spacious though. You can probably fit a 1-liter bottle in there. And then you have a decently sized glove box. This is a 6-speed auto. Over here is your eco mode and power mode buttons. What they basically do is they change the throttle response of the engine. You have a padded armrest, which is covered in leather.
and you have plenty of storage underneath. Over here you have a clock. Yeah. One difference that I noticed between this and the Hilux is that this doesn't have the fake leather stitching on the Hilux, which I like very much. I mean, I like the fact that it doesn't have fake leather stitching. This is plastic, this is leather, this is leather. Steering wheel is covered in leather. Also, this is leather. You have power folding side mirrors. Here at the second row now, the seat at the front is adjusted pretty far back, but I still have a bit of legroom. Headroom is also not bad for someone who is 5'8" to 5'10". If you're over 6 feet tall, you might have problems. You have two aircon vents over here, and these are controls for the aircon. You can control the fan speed, but it doesn't seem like there's any way to control the temperature. Over here you have a bit of storage and a 12-volt outlet. Okay. As you can see, the third row seats fold to the sides, unlike on the Montero where they fold flat against the floor. So you have slightly less storage here than the Montero, because you can't use the full width of the vehicle. Also, the second row seats on the Montero fold flat against the floor. These ones, they fold forward, but yeah, as you can see, it takes up space still.
The Fortuner is powered by a 2.4-liter engine that produces 147 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. That is significantly less than the Montero. All variants of the Montero come with a 2.4-liter engine that produces 181 horsepower and 430 Newton meters of torque. The Montero has a significant advantage when it comes to power. The Everest 2.0 bi-turbo hasn't been released in the Philippines yet. You either get the 2.2-liter that produces 160 horsepower and 385 Newton meters of torque, or the 3.2-liter, which produces 200 horsepower and 470 Newton meters of torque, both of which are more powerful than the Fortuner's 2.4. The Fortuner has a 6-speed auto, while the Montero and the Everest have 8-speed transmissions. The Fortuner suspension at the back is pretty stiff, so the ride is a bit more harsh compared to the competition. It doesn't feel as refined as the Everest Titanium. The Fortuner V also has hydraulic steering, compared to the Everest Titanium, which has electronic steering. So the steering of the Fortuner feels a bit more stiff compared to the Everest. The 2.4-liter engine might not be as powerful as the competition, but it's enough for the vehicle. It doesn't really feel underpowered. It is also more fuel efficient than the Everest 3.2, but not as efficient as the 2.2 Titanium. The Fortuner lags behind the competition when it comes to electronic features. It does have 6 airbags, but even the top-of-the-line model lacks active safety features like adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, collision mitigation, which are standard on the Montero GT, the Everest Titanium, and the Terra VL. It doesn't have the top-down camera of the Nissan Terra VL. It doesn't even have a backup camera. It's probably the most low-tech SUV in its class. The Toyota Fortuner is the best-selling SUV in the Philippines, and I think that's because of the Toyota badge. Toyota has built a reputation for building reliable vehicles. It's a reputation that's well earned. I just find it disappointing that the vehicles that they sell here are under-spec'd compared to the models that they sell overseas. Even the Toyota Land Cruiser, which is their most expensive SUV, doesn't come with a backup camera as standard. So is the Fortuner V better than the Everest and the Montero? In terms of features, no. In terms of looks, reliability, resale value, and customer service, maybe. Anyway, these are variables that are either subjective or difficult to quantify as of now. I've had plenty of vehicles from different manufacturers, and I know for a fact that reliability is not an exclusive Toyota feature. I just hope that Toyota offers more features on their next update of the Fortuner, because right now, it is way behind the competition.